This is like a bullseye, okay?
Yeah.
She says she wants more what? I remember you said something about tools, right? She wants more tools, blah, blah, blah.
More tools.
Okay, so you have tools. She also wants to get some sort of like condition.
Trust, more trust in herself.
Yeah, trust. What?
And commitment.
Commitment, spiritual. I remember you said spiritual stuff, right?
Spiritual growth. Yeah.
Spiritual growth. Okay. Anything else?
And develop.
Oh, her gifts. Yeah.
Yeah, develop her gifts with greater understanding.
Anything else?
Yeah, it's fucking raw.
Recording in progress.
Hey, all right.
Okay, cool. Now, to be fair though, okay, all this stuff are called conditions.
Okay.
The reason why she's kind of in this like stagnation energy is because there's a certain sophistication. What does she do for a living? I forgot to ask.
Crap, I forgot to ask that.
What do you
She's retired now.
Oh, is she?
Yeah.
She is retired? Okay, cool.
Like 95% sure she's retired.
So, okay, sophistication 1, sophistication 2. Okay. Now, so the question that unlocks this next level is what else? Write that down. What else and how will you know? Meaning, when you ask someone what else, like what else would you like to have? What would that enable you to do? What else would that enable you to do or have? How will you know? At what point will you know? This is how we extract the core value of what someone believes is value. You need to have a very good definition of what value is for you to make more money faster as a coach or as a founder.
You need to have
You need to define what value is. And in the world of business, okay, value is a perception. Value is perception. Money, what is money? It is an energy of value exchange. That's what money is. Money is an energy or a representation of value exchange. When we get clear definitions of these words that so many people have all these assumptions, right? About like, it's cash, right? Or it's like ones and zeros in a bank account. No, it's just a representation of value exchange. It is an energy, but that's just a frame, which is a set of assumptions. What is a frame? It's a set of assumptions. This is why in high-level leadership, you'll always learn things like frame control. If I control the frame of our social dynamic, like I'm the buyer, you're the seller, or let's just say you're the seller and I'm the buyer. Meaning if I'm the buyer, or I'm sorry, if I'm the seller, you're gonna ask me questions which would turn you into the buyer, then I have to jump through your hoops of approval, jump through your hoops of validation, which gets me to eventually just pay you money. It's just how it goes. Now, money doesn't have to be the transaction though. It could be anything. Time, behaviors, but like you get my point, right?
Yeah.
So value is a perception though. It's so important for you to understand that value needs to be positioned. So the value essentially is helping your audience to see that the best chance, okay, at arriving at their desired outcome, at your dream client's desired outcome is by seeing things, perceiving things, all things from your point of view. That's what selling is. But selling is the same thing as value. Not the same thing, but it's very, very similar to value. So say that out loud. Value is a perception.
Value is a perception.
To help your client.
Value is a perception to help the client.
Or help your audience.
To help your audience.
To see. Or
Or
believe.
believe.
That seeing things from your point of view.
That seeing things from your point of view.
Is their best chance.
Their best chance.
at arriving at their
And arriving at their
desired outcome.
desired outcome.
Hey, good job. Fuck yeah. Does that, so you see how I'm teaching you? I'm not just being like, hey, here's this fucking boring bar chart. Blah, 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 blah. It's like, no, I need to engage you
Right.
because that's the only way that you're gonna retain the information. If I just keep talking at you, you're just gonna be like, oh, that was, I felt like we got help at Theo's. Man, it's so awesome. Well, I don't remember shit. Yeah, no, yeah, it's because you didn't participate. Okay? So you bought a seat at the table. So you gotta pay attention. Promise me you're gonna stay present this whole time.
Yeah.
Is that fair?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I've gone through many years of mistakes and pain to just try to get to this to you in a very structured framework or frameworks. So what else will help your client when they start talking about what they want? Most people at a lower sophistication level, they're scared to tell themselves the truth about what they really want. What's the reason that guy wants? And there's layers to this. There's levels to this. I'll give you an example. There's a guy who in my program owns a Porsche 99. His name is Ron. Ron, if you're watching this ever, you're the man. Keep crushing it. And, you know, because he wanted to leave his corporate job to become full-time in his wealth advising company. And so the average person, not saying this was Ron, but the average guy who's like 55 years old is going to buy a Porsche because of some sort of like goal that he has. He has a belief system that he'll share with people to say why he bought that. The reason why he will say the reason why he bought it is he's gonna sound something like, well, I love the handles. I love the aesthetics. I love how it drives and handles. It's just a beautiful vehicle. Okay? Surface layer reason. Real underlying reason, midlife crisis. I don't know who I am. I feel like I'm missing something. So I need to buy that car to stimulate that sense of novelty. Does that make sense? How the reason what matters the most is that you seek to understand why someone wants the money, for example, the relationship. That's the egoic outcome that they buy. Okay? That's the egoic outcome that they buy. Now, the spiritual reason why they buy is what? The emotional benefit. They want to feel loved. If your relationship coaching, selling, find, keep, attract, keep, and meet, attract, keep.
Maintain.
Yeah, your committed, partner, right? So the egoic outcome is something they open their eyes and they see, oh, there's this character of a certain quality in my life that I did not have before. That's the thing that they're egoically buying. And then the actual emotional reason, which is the leverage, okay, is what? The feeling of love or connection. Okay?
Okay.
But just understand that again, you can't sell feelings. Feelings are the salt and pepper of the steak. With a steak that, in the context of what you're selling, is the actual real life partner or the actual make more money or the actual time back they feel a certain way. If you're in a health niche, right? So the frustrations, the fears, the desires, and the aspirations will get to, okay? In our world we say get to, right? Be connected to something measurable or quantifiable. So time, hours per day, hours per week, percentage of the day, exponential numbers, you feel double, triple as good. There's a great guy named Eben Pagan who I learned marketing from. He's a 9-figure entrepreneur, but one of the most humble people you'll ever meet. And he basically popularized this whole email marketing movement of like just give all the value away in these insanely long storytelling emails of so much value about teaching men how to date women. And he would just give the value and there's like no call to action. It's just like value, call to action. So the reason why he does that though is because he understands that the guy wants the partner, right? He wants to feel what? I'm testing you, right? Yeah, he wants to feel love and connection. But what people also don't understand is that there has to be a certain number. So the name of his program was called Double Your Dating. Double Your Dating. So not only does it have the alliteration of rhyming somewhat in the front end, but it's double your dating. So double is like a metric. That's what got it to be positioned as like more valuable than your average dating program, because it was called Double Your Dating. But do you see how stupid simple that is? But yet it's so powerful. It works. Okay, so that's just a thought experiment to help you to understand if you sell health coaching or something that may be intangible. I've sold millions of dollars worth of coaching, but in something that is completely transformational. Like you couldn't point to feel clear and high performance. Like you can't measure that. So I had to learn how to use language that would resonate with someone who is what? Financially qualified, sophisticated. I'm teaching you how to sell to rich people, basically. Well, not rich people, but like people who are financially qualified.
Okay.
People, if you let them, not you, but you, imaginary coach, right? Hearing this content, if you're gonna let your prospect or even client off the hook and say, oh, you wanna get all your spiritual gifts in all these conditions? Great. No. You have to take them to that next level of creativity. Co-create, if you will. That's what sales is co-creation. To what else would they get? And that's what you're gonna hold her accountable to being in integrity with herself. About what that means. Like, what does that even mean? Do you see, and this is another thing about the social experiment that we did outside, is like, the average conversation is, hey, how are you? Good, how are you? Oh, the weather's nice. Yeah, it's really nice. That sports team, they did really good. It never goes deeper than that though. That's not a conversation. That's an NPC conversation. Right? But if I stopped just for a second, I said, hey, what do you mean by that? Or tell me more. Like, how does that make you feel? What else? Tell me more. You see that? And that's just natural communication, but with consciousness. With consciousness.
What is that costing?
That's a great sales question. What is it costing you?
Yeah.
And I want you to use your face as a remote control for your tonality and go like this. What is it costing you? You see your tonality completely changed. Which, again, that subtle shift in your communication is like exponentially more money. Because you just go like this, like, what is it costing you? Someone perceives you as being like arrogant. Like you don't emotionally understand them.
Right.
Oh yeah, what's it costing you? But,
Yeah, it does seem arrogant. Exactly.
you see that?
I get it right
It's like,
there.
I'm confused. Just be like, I'm confused. Like,
What is that cost?
what is it costing you?
This is acting. I've already done it.
You see that? See,
I've done it.
this is all training ground for making more money.
UCLA acting.
No, it's sacred. It's literally all the dots connecting you to make you the most epic fucking mentor. You get my point? So, what I'm doing is just extracting it out of you and rubbing the pie in your face, okay? In a good way. Okay? So you're like, oh yeah, this shit's simple. So again, this lady, if she refuses to go deeper with you and higher with you when it comes to expressing her desires, she still wants to stay in la la land, meaning she still wants to stay in low sophistication land. But if she's high sophistication, okay, that just implies that she has experienced, let's just say, 6-figure income or above. I'm not trying to say that that's a tried and true rule. Everything that anybody says to you is a generalization. There's always exceptions, but we're just basing this off of like data, like off of statistics here. So the way that I communicate with her when I'm communicating with her is going to be more empathy for low sophistication, less empathy for high sophistication. And you'll know by the language that leaves their mouth. Okay? Is the language structured? Where's my eraser? I'll actually show you on this. So, is the language structured? Here's a V. Is it structured more towards pain, lens, or pleasure? Lens. People move on this spectrum away from pain and towards pleasure. We make decisions to move away from things we don't want to do or feel and towards things we want to feel. Pretty basic, right?
Yeah.
But again, right, the low sophistication person is enduring pain and kind of avoiding pain in a way, or sometimes even attached to pain. Like they're identified with pain. Some people in neuroscience call that addiction to pain.
So low sophistication person is they're talking more and more about their problems, their pain, rather than their goal, their future, how they want to feel.
Yeah, they're feeding, because their attention and their focus is feeding a certain context. Okay. And then sophisticated people, what do? Well, they deal with pain, right? They ask themselves, what am I going to do with this? Because they say, oh, my soul chose this pain, right? There's a lesson here. What am I missing, right? And then they move through it, and then they move towards pleasure, learning the lesson like, okay, well, here's how we prevent that pain from happening again.
So what would a high sophistication person be like?
Preventing pain, speaking about goals, speaking about vision, speaking about ways they want to feel, people they want to meet, ideas they want to, create. It doesn't mean that a high sophistication person isn't gonna be vulnerable or talk about their pain, but they're doing it from a mature altitude perspective, like a bird's eye view, to be relatable or to just express freely, but they're not indulging in it like that. This is me. Like this, like I have this problem. I am the problem is very common with low sophistication people. I have this problem. Therefore, I am this problem. You see how hard it is to get yourself out of that flywheel? But high sophistication people say, yes, I have this fucking problem. But I'm not the fucking problem, right? It's my perception is the fucked up problem. How I'm approaching it, how I'm doing it is dumb. It's just not effective. You see that? So the way that I would talk to a sophisticated person would not relate with a low sophistication person. So like if you've made like multi six figures, it'd be like, hey bro, the more time we spend talking and thinking about this shit, less time we have to go help you make more like money, like now. You would resonate with that. But if you were like in this coping mentality, you'd be like, wow, Theo's arrogant. Ew. Ugh, no, ew, he doesn't understand where I'm coming from. You get my point? Okay, so I'm just trying to show you that these are different dimensions of communication, of sales ladyship or salesmanship. Women are actually so world-class at sales, but they don't even know it. Meaning like you're very good at detective work and creating a qualification, but you're just not seeing that you can directly translate that to business. Right, it's a mating thing, right? Like women qualify because they decide who gets to have the life getting born and who does not qualify. Okay, so it's the same principle in business. Pretty powerful, right? All the ladies when I do these talks are like, oh yeah, it's so obvious. I'm like, yeah, don't tell me you don't know how to prospect. Your ex-boyfriend, you just like, oh, you know what his dog's name is now? You know who he's dating, you know all this stuff, right? Like not like creepy, like pet, like creepy style, but like it's a joke, but it's kind of true. Where it's like she's stalking him, all this stuff. So let's use the same level of respect that we have for our business to just be like, okay, well, do a little bit of research on your prospect before you go talk to them. That is sales.
So now, if she's a low prospect person, a low sophistication person, like, do you feel she's low or high? What do you feel?
Low.
Okay. So then, what do you do?
you come at this, you start the conversation with a smile, of course, as if like, hey, I've been waiting here for you, right? But again, when she expresses something, you have to say things like, dang, right? Like, really, wow, can't imagine what you're going through. Now in your mind, you're like, okay, I gotta be the leader. I gotta take us somewhere.
Right.
But if you don't start with that emotional understanding, her lens isn't gonna click on. So female nature, like the female brain, is wired to see the green lens of emotion first, then the blue lens of objectivity. The male brain is wired the opposite, so that we look at things, we perceive the world through the blue lens of objectivity first, and then the green lens of emotion. It's not that we don't have both, but we usually prioritize one, then the next. It doesn't mean anything like, oh, men are better than women. It's a bias that we have.
The blue lens is objectives.
Objective perception. Like things like data, logic, versus what? Emotion, feeling, empathy, emotional understanding. Even if it doesn't make sense, it's still real to the average female. So because you ever heard the saying, women don't want to be fixed, they want to be felt? Guys, we don't get that. It's like, no, just solve the problem like this. Like, no, okay? Because women are not dumb. Like, they pretty much know how to solve their problems, but they would love to be able to, feel safe with expressing their feelings, even good feelings.
True.
Right?
Very true.
In the space of a guy who's like, amazing. Tell me more.
Exactly. That's all you need to say.
It's like, instead, well, let me share my 2 cents. You're like, no, that's not what I wanted. So the pre-frame question is like, do you want me to listen, or do you want me to share a solution? Do you want to be felt or heard or seen? Or do you want to be solutions oriented? Okay? Rather than what? Problem oriented. Okay? It is what it is. It's not good or bad. It's just the way it is, right? But the sooner we accept this, the more powerful or dynamic we're going to be able to communicate with people in DMs and on calls. Now, see how I'm closing the gap between like, okay, how does this translate to me getting clients? Getting clients on social media, getting clients even in person, getting clients anywhere you want. Okay? And we're going to show you also how to translate this to, okay, what does this imply in content creation? And how you can use AI to your advantage without being dependent on it, which is a no-no. Okay? The problem with AI is that it turns people into lazy thinkers. Right? Low skill, it's still not going to compete in the marketplace. So you do need to know how to train AI through the frame of what we're teaching in the format, like in the actual skills and the principles. Make sense? And I'll give you prompts to help you to help yourself out. Okay. So, just to recap, remember, we're not fixing the problem in sales. We are finding the problem. Say that with me.
We are finding the problem.
Yes, we are a detective. You're a detective.
I'm just a detective.
Yeah, you ain't fixing, okay? That's why they pay you. Because you can't, it's a mindset call, okay? It's a belief shifting call, just like marketing is belief shifting, that's all it is. Perception shifting. But again, it's a mindset call, but it's showing her what to change, not how to change it. Not to do how to do what to do. Does that make sense?
Change, not how.
Yeah, she needs to understand how to shift her perception around certain levers in her mind. Okay? Think of like this versus that. Have you guys ever heard of contrast theory? What is it? What's contrast theory?
Well, you're saying you give them what is one side of the coin and then the other side of the coin.
Yeah, it's why psychotherapy is so effective. So it's a this versus that frame. Okay? Do you want to be?
That's something he's going to do with her right now? Like he's going to, or
Yeah, so the whole frame is the, first of all, you've got to know your outcome. This is the prerequisite.
Know your outcome.
Know your outcome. Assume thy sale. That's why you're so heady. Assume the sale, bro. Assume the sale while being free from the outcome. You don't need this person's money. Now, I know your ego doesn't want to feel that way, but you don't. You don't need their money. There's 8 billion people in the world. There's many other people who would be a fit to work with you.
Yeah.
Okay? You need 42 people to pay you $2K per month to make 7 figures per year. That's not a lot of people. But you hear a lot online, how to go viral.
42 people at what?
42 people, 42 clients times $2,000 per month over a year is 83K per month. Basic math, but hey, it's crazy how simple it is. Okay, you could break that up into different things, but do you see my point? Now you might be asking yourself, well, Theo, I have a 3-month program. Yeah, but just because they stop at 3 months doesn't mean you can present a new evolved offer for their next level of vision, for their next standard of what they want to create, for the next problems that they will have to solve. And without you, it's going to take them way longer, 10 times as long, or they may not ever get there. That's the gap, which is what? The place where you put your offer in. You just put it there. Okay? So know your outcome, control your state. That's why we did that exercise outside, to give you a real experience of state control, of conscious willing yourself to access what? A flow state. A flow state. Okay? Because we shifted your physiology first, not your mind. That's the fastest way to control your state. So what do you want to walk like that? You want to walk like the 7-figure coach, or do you want to walk like the 5-figure coach? It's just a subtle shift in your breathing. Just do this, 5 in, 5 out. In, 1, 2, 3, out. And don't pause, just keep it a cycle. In for 5, out through the nose, 5. One more. Your heart rate variability is different now.
And your energy.
I know it, it's data, it's all data. It's math. You see that? Or you could do the box breath of 4. So 4 in, hold, 4, out 4, hold 4. In 4, hold 4, out 4, hold 4. That's what I do on a sales engagement. Either the 5 cycle or the 4 box.
Don't they say in like the NLP guy, he's like, if he changes the way he breathes, then the person, he can like manipulate people by the way he breathes.
Mm-hmm, yeah, yes, yeah.
So even on a call, I think subtly, you could.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Why is that? Well, it's because of the law of state transference.
Oh, that's crazy.
How I feel, you feel. So if I feel scarcity and survival mode, that's what you'll feel. I feel chill. It's all good, yo. We're rich, peaceful.
Okay.
It's gonna start to rub off on you, because so that's my body, right? But then my mind has to be certain that we are all 10s. Literally, like we're all fucking high status as fuck,